Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. And in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Rodriguez versus Edwards fight. If you're new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So starting off, going into this fight, Rodriguez is 18-0 with 11 KOs and Edwards is 20-0 with 4 KOs. This fight is for the IBF and WBO World Flyweight titles. Rodriguez's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Gonzalez, and Edwards' last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Campos. Rodriguez is 23 and Edwards is 27. Rodriguez is a southpaw. This is in Rodriguez's home country of America, and to speak about what I've just said there, of course this being for both the world title, it's nice to see the flyweight division actually having champion on champion fights being made, and Edwards has been calling it for a long time, and so it's nice to see it actually happening. And I mean, I've spoke to Edwards, I've interviewed him, I had the pleasure to do so, and to now see how, or to then kind of see how motivated and how up for this fight he is, it's refreshing to see, and it showed, and he kind of shows how much the fight is important to him and how important this fight is to him and how important it is to the rest of the division. And so it's nice to see it's happening, and it's going to be a great fight, and it makes for a great fight. And both of their last fights were relatively convincing performances. I would say that Rodriguez's was a solid performance. There was weaknesses, but there was also positives to take from there as well, and the same with Edwards. But at the end of the day, they're both opponents who aren't really huge names, and I'm sure probably they were overlooking them going into that fight, but now going into this fight, I'm sure we're going to be seeing, hopefully we see the best of both of them. And I mean, Rodriguez getting this fight when he's only 23 years old, I mean, he's been progressing so well at such a young age, and the fact he's already a multi-weight world champion at 23 years old is crazy. And he's doing so much already, and if he's to win this fight as well, then like I said, at 23 years old, it'll be a huge accomplishment. Of course, he's a southpaw, but to be honest, both of them can kind of switch if they want to. I mean, they've both got good footwork. Rodriguez is probably a better southpaw, but there's definitely positives of both of their styles. I don't really think a southpaw is going to really deter Edwards, to be honest. Of course, this is in Rodriguez's home country, and so fair play for Edwards for wanting and being willing to come over and take the fight in, of course, Rodriguez's country, when he's the one that's also got the championship belt as well, and he's the one that's got the more fights. He's the older one, but he's wanting to chase this fight, and he's so determined to have this fight, he's willing to fight in Rodriguez's home country. Also on this card is Akhmadaliev versus Gonzalez, which I think Gonzalez will win via unanimous decision. To be honest, I'm just not sure about Akhmadaliev coming off the loss now. I think there were some weaknesses shown, and I think Gonzalez is going to be able to punish on them weaknesses. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a split decision. It could be a close fight, just like the main event could be a close fight, but I think Gonzalez will win by unanimous decision. I don't think he'll stop him. And then also on this card is Yafai versus Santomaro for the WBC International Flyweight title, which I think Yafai will win via TKO in round 5. Yafai is coming off a great performance, a brilliant early stoppage, and he's looking the most confident, the most destructible he's ever looked, and I think he could put out a spiteful performance if he just doesn't overwhelm or do too much, or force it too much. Then I think he could get a stoppage, like I said, round 5, and then that's going to put him in great stead to get into a huge fight in the division. Maybe not a world title fight, but he could get against one of the top level contenders if he's to win this fight, and that will be only 6-0 at that point, and to be in that position is just very impressive, and I mean well deserved as well. And so to go back to the main event, so Rodriguez as a fighter, he'll bring the fight. He's fast, he finds angles very well. It's something which he's probably most known for, the fact that he can find angles so well. He's got good combinations, very good footwork that links to him then being able to find the angles off the footwork. Good shot variety due to the fact that he can find angles and shoot from, like I said, any different position. He's a fast starter. He doesn't really respect opponents, and I don't really think he's going to respect Edwards' power. He's willing to take necessary risks, and he's explosive. He's probably the more aggressive out of the two. He will slow you down, he'll pressure you, and he'll kind of stick to you, and when he wants to, he'll stick to you and really put the pressure on and really just outwork you and outwork you, outpace you, and like I said, just take them necessary risks to possibly get you out of there. And if he does, it's impressive if he does, but he's also, like I said, not going to take any respect and not really going to. It's sometimes that's a bad thing, but sometimes it's what you need. And against somebody like Edwards, who on paper isn't really known for having the massive amounts of power, that's why I say I don't really think he's going to respect him. The negatives about him: he can coast through rounds, but so can Edwards. To be honest, they've both been showing that they can do that at this point, and it's not something which is amazing. And I think it's just when they go into fights and they're just overlooking the opponent and they think they can win easily, and it's definitely not a good trait. But I don't think that either of them will be having that in this fight like this, because I think it will be a very entertaining fight and they're both going to have to stay switch on throughout the whole time. He can be held at a jab, and that can sometimes slow him down, and that's one of the main things that can slow him down. And Edwards is a very technical, very skilled boxer, and I feel like he'll know that, and he'll be able to see that, and he'll possibly be able to work from that. He can struggle against physicality, and he's been roughed up in fights a little bit, but I don't really think Edwards is going to be offering that physicality. He can headhunt a bit, especially in that last fight, and to be honest, the fight before, he was seemingly not to use his bodywork. His bodywork, when he uses it, is really good, and when he puts it together, is really good, but sometimes he doesn't utilise it as much as he could do, and he can then headhunt a bit, and I don't know, then if he's struggling to cut off the ring, which sometimes he does, then he's just kind of following you around the ring, possibly overcommitting to shots and, just trying to move you. But when he's got such good movement, I feel like he could cut off the ring a bit better. He has to utilise his combinations. Sometimes he can just go in with one-shot punches when he is kind of following you around the ring. Kind of links to what I've just said with cutting off the ring, how important that is. Sometimes he doesn't have a crazy amount of head movement, and, I feel like against an Edwards, who, like I said, is a very technical boxer, he'll be able to find the shots well, and will be able to pick his shots well, and be able to land on the target. And if there's a head not moving coming forwards, then I think he'll be able to hit that and possibly move around it. He can be timed coming in, but I don't feel like I said, I don't feel like he's going to respect Edwards' power, and I don't think that Edwards, personally, I don't think he's going to have that one-shot knockout power. Obviously, to an extent, it's down to timing and how well he can time it, and so you never know, but he's there to get hit when he's coming in. He doesn't really use a jab loads, and well, he does, but sometimes he needs to use it a bit more. Same with, like I say, combinations and body work. He just needs to keep using his things that he knows how to use and make adjustments during the fight and work out what he needs to do and work out how he can best do it. But it's just when he puts it all together, he's such an amazing fighter, but sometimes, possibly with his youthfulness, he's just sometimes can switch off and then just do what he wants to do, and sometimes it's not as well as what he could do it. And then so now to speak about Edwards as a fighter, he's confident, he's, like I said, very technical, he fights his fight well. I don't think he's going to get drawn into any fight that Rodriguez might offer him, and like I say, he's going to keep to his game plan very well. He will keep a distance, and like I said, Rodriguez can be held at a jab. He's got very good footwork as well. He's got very good counters. I think he probably will be on the back foot against Rodriguez for most of the fight. He's very well conditioned. He can go 12 rounds very well. I think Rodriguez can as well, to be honest. So it's, I think, going to be a great fight throughout all of it. He can fight on the front foot and the back foot. I think he can fight on the back foot better than what Rodriguez can. He will outwork you. He can frustrate you with the fact that he's going to be just landing shots and then moving, and he's very disciplined, and that discipline aspect can frustrate fighters that they're against when they just can't hit you because they're just not offering too much attacking wise, but it's just enough for them to be able to score points and win rounds by doing so. He's got a very good jab, he's got good shot variety, he's fluid in his movements, he can stick to a game plan very well, he's willing to weather a storm and can weather a storm well, and I think he's going to have to do that a few times against Rodriguez. He's composed, he's got high IQ, he's consistent, and so a very well-rounded fighter. But of course, like I mentioned, there's negatives about him. He's not overly a hard puncher, like I said, and Rodriguez, like I mentioned a few times, isn't going to respect him. He can struggle against physical pressure as well, and I think Rodriguez is most definitely going to put on some physical pressure, and so Edwards has been backed up, put on the ropes a few times, and he doesn't look too comfortable when he's up on the ropes, and so if he can do that, then physical pressure he might struggle against. He can be pushed back, like I said, up against the ropes. It's not really where he wants to be. He can also coast through rounds, but I don't think that's going to be the problem with this one. He may be overconfident, to be honest, going into this. I mean, he talks a lot, and so, but he backs it up so far, and so he might be a little bit overconfident going into this. You never really know, but to an extent, confidence isn't a bad thing. It can be a good thing in the process. He may be wanting to prove a point, and then if he's doing that, then he might be wanting to go for a knockout or something like that, and choose a game plan for himself that is working on the way of going to get a knockout. But I think if he's going to be aggressive against Rodriguez, he's going to struggle, and he might, I mean, this is his first fight away from, I believe, Europe, to be completely honest, because so it's a bit different. It'll be a bit of a different experience. I don't think that's going to affect him too much, but of course it is a bit of a different experience. Edwards is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Rodriguez will win via unanimous decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a tough fight for both fighters. I think Rodriguez is going to improve throughout the fight and put on the pressure more, and I think he's going to back Edwards up. Like I mentioned, I think Edwards is going to be happily for the early rounds, just outworking him, put him on jab, moving well, but then I think Rodriguez will turn up the tempo, turn up the pace, become more aggressive, and if he can just start cutting off the ring a bit and, like I say, utilising other parts of his work that he has so good of ability to do so when he does, I think he will do that, and he'll be able to get a unanimous decision victory in the process. Then who he go on to fight next? Edwards again. If it's a great fight this time, then you never know, it could be made again, and like I said, if it's a great fight, I'm sure that everybody wouldn't mind seeing it again. Cordova versus Martinez, that fight's just been postponed just today, so I mean, the winner of that either way could be a good fight. I mean, Martinez is the, I believe, WBC flyweight champion, I think, so you never know. Or Lardzabo, sorry about my pronunciation. He's a Mexican fighter, very highly ranked, and so that could be a good domestic fight for Rodriguez. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.